Take you live now to Queen's Park, where the Ontario Liberals are speaking about the long-delayed Eglinton-Crosstown
Hundreds of
LRT.
millions of dollars have been paid to try and keep this project on track. It's been mired in legal battles. And in 2023, 3 years ago, it was claimed that this project was 97% complete. And yet here we are still checking our watches. Ontarians are the victims. Communities along Eglinton, including many in Don Valley East, have endured endless congestion, shuttered storefronts, lost jobs, and years of uncertainty that remain to this moment. They are real harms caused by a government that refuses to take action and accountability. And we've now seen this play out, literally in real time. A new poll shows that 62% of residents believe that the launch of the Finch West LRT has been unsuccessful. The Hurontario LRT has faced its own financial and construction failures. When winter storms hit, unreliable transit becomes a barrier to work, school, and daily life. And these are failures of governance. They're not accidents. And so today we're here to say that Ontarians deserve better than excuses. They deserve answers, accountability, and a transit system that works. So this is why we are saying that if Doug Ford opens the Eglinton-Crosstown with nothing more than fanfare, he will have failed. Ontarians need the following things to take place at the opening of the Eglinton-Crosstown if he stands a chance at winning our confidence. First, we expect the launch of a full public inquiry into the mismanaged construction of the Eglinton-Crosstown. Next, we expect compensation for the many businesses and communities who have been harmed by years of delays and disruption. There will need to be a rapid response task force to immediately address operational issues that arise with the Eglinton-Crosstown once it opens and before they spiral. We also require a guarantee that mistakes which were made during the bungled launch of the Finch West LRT are not repeated. And finally, there will need to be a credible, actionable plan to apply the lessons learned from the Eglinton-Crosstown LRT and the Finch West LRT to ensure that construction of the Ontario line is not a repeat of these failures. Doug Ford wants Ontarians to settle for less, but it's time for him to put his big boy pants on because we expect competence, not chaos. After nearly 2 decades of promises, Ontarians deserve a transit system that meets deadlines, stays on budget, and earns the trust of people who rely on it every day. With that, I would love to turn it over to my esteemed colleague, Andrea Hazel, MPP for Scarborough-Guildwood.
Yeah. So thank you to my colleague, and thank you guys for being here today, and good morning. What I want to say before I start my statement, and you'll hear some of the stuff that I repeat what my colleague said because we need to say that loud and clear, is that we're going back on March 23rd. We're out for a couple months. It's not going to stop us from holding this government to account for the pain and the aggravation and the frustration commuters all across Ontario face every day. And it's not a priority for this government to fix the gridlock because they can fix the gridlock. And so what I want to say this morning is at Queen's Park, my job has been simply and consistent from since I got here in 2023, is to hold this government and Doug Ford accountable for the chaos, stress, and gridlock caused by repeated delays to our transit projects, especially the Eglinton-Crosstown LRT. I did a study before I became a politician. This was in 2023 with the City of Toronto. You cannot believe the amount of mom and pop shops that got closed in Eglinton, where the Eglinton-Crosstown is being built, because there was a increase in foot traffic. So how are they going to run their business? How are they going to make their revenue? But if we, on the other side, for the Ontario Liberal Party, do not come out and hold this government to account and really fight for the people that voted for us, this government will continue to not make transit a priority for the people of Ontario. Before the House rise, I tabled a petition that got signed by over 2,000 residents in Scarborough that is trying to find out what is happening with Eglinton-Crosstown and the horrible connectivity that exists in Scarborough. For instance, let's get to the Scarborough subway extension. What a baloney joke from this government. They came up to Scarborough with the Scarborough representatives and this government. They posed for a photo op and they posed with shovel. But I would say to this government, you like to pose with shovel on the ground, but pose with shovel out of the ground and get these projects to where they need to get at. That project in Scarborough, I'm talking about the Scarborough subway extension, started at a $5.5 billion. Now it's at $10 billion. No respect for taxpayers. You know who's benefiting from this? Doug Ford insiders, Doug Ford friends, and Doug Ford donors. And I want you to write that down because the people of Ontario are fed up. They've had enough and they're complaining to us. After 8 years in power, this government has not delivered on the Eglinton-Crosstown. Come on. How long is this government is going to keep blaming the Ontario Liberal Party? He's the government then, he's the government now, and he will go down in history as the government who will not get it done with helping Ontarians with their gridlock situation. I introduced two bills, Bill 70 and Bill 184, that support mobility, affordability, and reliable transportation in Ontario Act. These bills focus on what riders actually need, what they have been telling me, whether I go east, north, south, and west. I put all of that in my bill. I researched, I met with stakeholders, I met with donors, I met with supporters, I met with everyone in Ontario before I worked on my bill. They're asking for a reliable transportation system, a safe and fast and affordable service, transparency with public dollars, and better coordination between regional and local transit. In short, everything this government has failed to deliver on. We have seen this movie before, guys. Guys, we've seen this movie before. In Ottawa, the LRT became a case study in failure. In Toronto, the Finch West LRT opened slower than the bus it replaced. This is one of the most embarrassing tracks on the LRT for this government. And more than a decade, we're still waiting for Eglinton-Crosstown. We're left in the dark. There is no information. We know that the city of Toronto, the TTC, Metrolinx, and the Minister of Transportation, they cannot even work together to come up on a date to open the Eglinton-Crosstown. It was promised to open in 2020, 2021, 2023, 2025.
We've been listening to a press conference down at the Queen's Park studio. Ontario Liberals speaking out about their frustrations over the long-delayed Eglinton-Crosstown LRT.